Welcome back to the patch, everyone. Like always, we're going to start on this end of the patch with the 2551 Ford and the 2090 Bleo. So we'll start off with the 2551 Ford. It's been tough go with these two plants. This is the area in which when we got heavy rain, it kind of washed through the patch on either side. A lot of nutrient deficiencies, and as time became available, I didn't do a whole lot of exterior weeding, or interior weeding I should say, so I got to get caught up on that, but it's not been top priority. But we do have a pumpkin set here, so I'd have to look. I think it's day 15 or 16 on this particular fruit, and it's looking pretty good. I got to get sand under it. This ground is a little uneven, so I'm going to put a heavy amount of sand there just so it lays nice and flat. Nice long fruit. The only problem is it's not a big plant. It's probably hard to see by the video here because you got two plants in there, but this is probably only about 150 to max 200 square feet. So definitely got a lot of plant to grow. It's majorly deficient in nitrogen. I've got budding going out on the tips. So what I just did prior to this watering tonight is I laid some nitrogen down on the soil. I'm using urea. Typically I'll use either a Cal Mag or a calcium nitrate, but I'm all out of calcium nitrate, and the Cal Mag is liquid. I'm not going to do a foliar feeding, and I'm not going to deliver it to the rest of the plants. So I figured the pelletized urea will be the best option at this point. Try and fire off some of them growth tips and see if I can get her going and growing before that fruit takes off too much. Good looking pumpkin. We'll see what she does with that size of plant. See if I can get that growth kicked in. 2190 Bleo. It's been okay, but again, nutrients, it's doing a little bit better than the other one. It's not budding out as much. There still is some budding out, but I did blow out the main on this plant, so it's kind of hard to see and get to. Been keeping an eye on it. It doesn't have any goobers or anything, but it did split underneath the main and kind of butterfly out, so it's gonna be interesting. I do have a pumpkin set. This one's probably around 6 to 7 days. I think it's 7 days today, which is a huge DAP 7. It's kind of hard to tell if it's going to abort or not still. I almost didn't pick this one, but the other one did abort in the heats, which was a few days younger, and I deadheaded the main. So we'll see if I get this one going. Great. I think this plant over the 2551 has a better shot of picking up some energy, but you never know. So again, this is probably going to be state fair plants, gone by August, and we'll see what we can get out of it up until that point. So low energy, hopefully somewhat of a reward on it, but not banking on anything huge on these two plants. Moving on to the next one, hopeful on this plant. This is the 2560 Ginger. I know I'm lisping and stuttering. It's pretty hot out, so got quite a bit of scorch. This plant struggles with scorch, and you guys say, oh, that looks great from here. Yeah, you get in a little deeper there, you got burn, and it's the third leaf back for several days in a row. So I mean, there's burn, more burn, so it is not pretty by any means. I wanted to get shade cloth up this year. It just wasn't in the cards, so we'll see what we can get out of it. One thing I learned about the 2560 last year is the plant could look rough. It could do some things that you're not happy with, but you got to stick with it because the pumpkin can do some amazing things. So with that being said, let's take a look at the fruit I have set. and I'll have to get its dance floor under it soon. And it's I'd say slightly bigger than a grapefruit, not quite bowling ball size. Good shape. It's gonna be more whitish cream, definitely not gonna be the orange that I had last year. Kind of look under the plant, a few weeds, but not too awful bad. And then I did deadhead the second node after the pumpkin. So what I'm gonna do is not quite a deadhead at the fruit, but the node after, bend this around, still utilize that secondary vine after the fruit. Just something different to try on different things, and we'll see how that works. But I do gotta get this soon on its dance floor and going before it gets too scratched up. Other than that, plant's doing pretty good. If it wasn't for the heat and the UV damage, it'd be a beautiful plant, but unfortunately just doesn't like the excessive UV. So bring you around to stump side, maybe I'll show you that. I got a weed in here a little bit. It's doing good, nice arch there, but overall nice plant. We're gonna come around here to the 2097 Kaismore. This plant has been ideal as far as growth, color, no real burning. Got burned on a couple leaves, but I mean, we've had extreme heat, and you look at the third leaf in, definitely darker, but no real burn. Couple leaves, like I said. So looking forward to see how this thing goes through the heat. Regardless of how this ends up fruit-wise, weight-wise, it's definitely got the genetics that I look for growing in the south, growing in extreme heat, growing in extreme UVs. I know there's some folks that believe that that's kind of a fallacy or a myth, that some genetics are better than others or where they come from, but when you have something that's doing that well under the exact same circumstances and back-to-back, same fertilization, everything the same, there's got to be something to that. So we'll get onto the scale. I'm not going to really show a whole lot with the weights right now because it fluctuates. It's at like 4.5. I think it was at 5 pounds a minute ago, but don't worry about that right now. It's all going to fluctuate and change. It's probably about that. Good, nice long fruit. One thing I did have is right when it was laying down, it was extremely heavy, and I do have a crack where the pumpkin meets the main. No worries, I've got it dried up. It does look brown, and but it's not mushy. It's all hard, it's all firm. I've had that fan with the tube blowing on it, so not worried about it whatsoever. Alcohol spraying on it multiple times daily, but good looking fruit. Don't think we're gonna see much orange out of it, but I don't care. I would like to see more big than orange, so we'll see what she does here in the next, we'll call it, I think this is DAP 7, 8, probably 8. Excuse me, tomorrow is DAP 10, so that's a DAP 9 fruit. So pretty good size for a DAP 9. I would call that slightly bigger than a bowling ball, and we'll see what she looks like at DAP 10, but realistically you don't know what you're getting until DAP 20 and 30 and so on. So watering, I am doing 3-minute watering sessions 3 times a day. For the most part, those start at around 11:30, and then I do it every hour after that. And then when I get home, I kind of judge on how things did. Right now I'm happy with the moisture level, plants, how they're responding to that, so won't change that a whole lot. Next plant here is the 1481 Bayuk. Again, I'd like to give this one a little bit more fertilizer, just because I can tell it's a little bit more sparse, a little smaller leaves. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it doesn't appear like anything's gonna bud out. Still got a few cobra heads, so I'm not awfully concerned, but with this heat I have to be extremely cautious on what I do as far as fertilizer, especially nitrogen levels. So I'm going to proceed with caution, especially while fruit are being set. I do have a pumpkin. After this one aborted, there was one that was on the main. Kind of see, that's why I have this fan here. It's kind of blowing down there to make sure that stays dry. But main comes over, comes down, comes over, and then I have deadheaded it here at a backup. That does not look like it's taken, so I will probably in the next few days when I go to set this up on its mill fabric, actually it's going to go on a scale more than likely. I haven't 100% decided if this is getting it or a 2560, but I'm leaning towards this one. Call me biased, it's my seed, so we might see what happens, but I'll deadhead it there. I do have the secondary coming off of the fruit, and then it's gonna go all the way to that side. So enough with that. Nice pumpkin. Its mother was orange. This looks slightly like it's gonna go more orange than anything, so we'll see. Good shape, good length stem. Excited to see what this does, but with the plant size, it should do well. Plant size currently, I would say we're easily 800 square feet, and it's probably got another 400 to go, so it'll get a lot of this. I'm swooping secondaries way back, continuing, and you can see I have all this, and they're already swoop back anywhere from 8 to 15 maybe 20 feet on some of these side vines, so doing pretty good. Stumps are all looking really good. Usually 4th of July is where I gotta really watch out for things, but stumps all look really good. Really like these stump covers. I'll be taking out a couple of these leaves here shortly, just as preventative maintenance. I've already taken out a couple. Here is the castor bean plant, so that helps to prevent ground dwellers. I do have a problem with voles, moles, all the above. Got a couple of castor beans there, but that's pretty much it for this update. Yeah, you can really see the burn in there in the 2560. Yuck. I got a couple of days off towards the end of this week, so I'll get caught up on some more of the weeding, vine training. I'm sure you saw that some of the vines aren't all aligned and pinned down and whatnot, but overall happy with the patch. Just got to get through this heat spell this week and a little bit in the next week, and hopefully next update we'll have some sizable fruit. Catch y'all on the next one.